I'm coming to you from Berlin in Germany. Welcome to episode 20. I'm pretty certain I've remembered it this time. Episode 20. Hello to returning viewers, hello to new viewers. This is my knitting, sewing, crafty, general vlogcast, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Today I have 1 sewing finished object, 2 knitting finished objects, and some natural dyeing. So let's get started. As usual, I'm going to put the show notes below. Anything I talk about will be below, and if you want to skip anything or go back to something, I've got some chapters in it down below. I'm actually going to start this a little bit the other way around. I'm going to start with works in progress because it's a lot more exciting than my finished object. So let's start with my work in progress. It's the same work in progress as last time. So my work in progress is my Ziggy Shawl by Locatelli. It's knitted in Regia Merio Yak 4-ply. It's just gonna want my face, isn't it? I don't know why I bother. It never wants to focus. But yes, it's a merino yak, and it's a present for my friend who's getting married next month. Yes, which is terrifying because I'm so not anywhere near finished. I don't know how you guys just plow through all your yarn and make beautiful shawls and you're like, oh, it just took me a week. It only took me 2 weeks. This takes forever. I mean, I don't have a problem with that because I'm enjoying the knit, but I did expect it to be faster, and I'm now freaked out that I won't get it finished in time for her wedding, but I will try. So again, you're not really going to be able to see it like last time, but I'm hoping you get the general idea. I cast it on with a garter tab and did the first round of lace, and then I think it's garter here. I've done my second panel of lace. I am currently working on the 3rd, and I've got 5 more rounds to go. Then it's another wodge of this, 1 more lace, and then another of this. And obviously it gets bigger as you go. This has taken me, what, 3 or 4 weeks? I mean, I haven't been knitting solely on it. So it hasn't taken me 3 weeks or 4 weeks to get this far every day, but I have been doing chunks of it. But it's taking me ages. I actually bought yarn to make myself one. There's no way I'm gonna get that finished in time to wear to the wedding. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, it will get nice and big and pretty and nice. I just have to actually finish it. But I'm enjoying it, which is odd. I didn't expect to enjoy it because when I did my Humblebee shawl, I hated having to go do knitting. But for some reason, even though that was DK and this is fingering, I'm enjoying it. But I'm happy about that. Otherwise, that would be awful. And anything else to say? There's not really anything else to say. It's a really nice pattern. I've got some more yarn to make one for myself, and I'm actually going to show it to you because it's beautiful. If you have been watching this channel for a while, you'll know I have a little obsession with Keats Garn. She's a hand dyer in Berlin, and she posted a picture on her Instagram of this beautiful yarn, and I felt overwhelmed with desire. I usually see yarn, I think that's beautiful, but I can't afford it right now, or I'll just put it to my cart and I'll get it later. And for some reason I saw this one and I needed it, and I needed it now, and I messaged her and asked, can I come get it tomorrow, please. And she said yes, so I will show you. It is so beautiful. It is called Späti Graffiti on a silky solist base. It's a superwash merino, 70% and 30% silk, 100 grams, 400 meters. And it was oh please focus. It was a dye that went wrong, and I really liked it. And I think it was because she said it was something that came out wrong. It wasn't supposed to look like that. I thought she won't be able to replicate it again. Even if she does do it again, she won't do it exactly the same because it was a mistake. So it was like a once off. She's never gonna have that really again. I need it. Admittedly, I then completely spent all my money that I had left for the whole month and haven't had any for the rest of the month. But it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. This is a real yarn addiction, isn't it? When you're like, I don't need food, I can just have yarn. Alas, it's all good. It's all fine. I'm calm now. I don't need to buy any more yarn for a while. So that is what I will use to make another Ziggy Shawl. I have 2 skeins. And my next work in progress, I'm actually not really going to show you because there's nothing to show, but eventually it will do something. This is going to be, as you can see, I cast this on with full excitement, and then I haven't been able to do anything with it because I really need to do the shawl and I need to finish this shawl. But this will be the Plant Lady Tee by Agata Amani. I don't know why I'm looking, I can just put a picture here. Agata Amani, I think. And it's going to be gorgeous. That is knit in an onion knits yarn. I have the ball band but not there. It's a mixture between wool and nettles. And it's a gorgeous colour. I'm very excited for it. But I have to prioritise and do the shawl before I do my own little knits there. That will be coming. Then that's kind of all of my works in progress realistically, but I have to start another one imminently when I wrap this up, because let's get on to the works and finished objects which have caused my requirement for more works in progress. Baby knits. I always thought knitting things for babies would be fast and would be really fun, and I have completely lost my knitting mojo, all because of a baby cardigan. Nearly swore there, had to hold that. I have been so enraged over this cardigan, and I will show it to you, but I hate this cardigan. It isn't the cardigan pattern's fault, it's completely me. I wasn't going to swatch because it's a baby cardigan, so it's the size of a swatch would basically be the whole entire back of a baby cardigan. But I think I did a little small swatch and figured that's the right gauge, and then when I was knitting it, it was actually the right gauge, but it was a bit open, like the fabric was a bit loose, but it really didn't matter. And then I did the sleeves, and I'll just show you. So it's blowing out a little bit, but it is kind of that colour. I haven't done the button, I've got the buttonholes, but I don't have the buttons for it yet. And this is not a great way to show you, but do you see what I mean? That was the regular knitting, and then my arms, and it's just like, obviously the knitting round and round is a lot neater and nicer, and the rest of it, because it's a cardigan, it was knitted backwards and forwards, so knit one and then purl on the other side. I have done so much knitting, and in the round and knitting flat, and I've never had such an ugly result or enormously huge discrepancy between the two. I've heard on Amore Mario's podcast on Fridays, and she says, oh, a lot of people knit tighter when they go onto the sleeves, so just go up a needle size or two. And I've never had that problem, so it didn't occur to me that I would need to do that. And then I was knitting this and I finished the sleeve, and to be fair, I hated doing this entire cardigan. I don't really know why. Like, the colour that came is nice, but it's not the right colour. It's not the colour that was on the screen. Again, I've also never had that. I've always ordered yarn and it came the same colour, but it isn't. So that bothered me. Then I knitted it and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the feel of the yarn, but that was irrelevant because I wasn't going to keep it. It's for somebody else, it's fine, it's a small garment. But then yeah, it just looks a bit rubbish and I need some tea. Then when I did the sleeves and saw that, hated it. But I didn't want to knit on anything. For about a week, I didn't want to knit anything. I just avoided knitting. And I thought, this is so not worth it. This tiny cardigan, I'm not ripping out these sleeves and redoing them just so I can give a baby something that's going to wear it for like a week and vomit all over it. Like, the baby's not actually going to care. I'm just more upset that it's a gift to a friend and she's seen that I have knitted much nicer things, and then I feel like if I give this to her, she'll be like, really? Thanks. I mean, she wouldn't actually say that to my face, but I feel like it's an inner feeling. But yeah, it completely killed my knitting mojo, and I think it's so ugly with the difference between, like, this is, I think it's called rowing out, when you can see the difference, because this is obviously a lot neater. So many of you were really nice to me on Instagram and saying, oh, it's just like a textured yoke, or it's fine, it's a really nice gift, but I don't know, I feel really guilty giving someone something that I think looks so naff. But yeah, that is the Amore Cardigan by You Knits, as in you like the sheep. And it's knitted in Drops Charisma. I had to get a superwash wool because my friend would never hand wash a jumper, especially with a baby. So it's not a yarn I'd ever buy. Don't really want to buy it again. I actually bought enough to make 2 kids jumpers, but this took up like 1/4 more of the extra skein that I bought. So now I don't have 4 skeins. Like, I originally bought 4, so I could use 2 skeins for this and 2 skeins for another. But now I've used the yarn for that one, so I don't want to buy another of this. I never want to knit with this again, or this cardigan ever again. I have 3 more patterns for babies, but I don't have superwash yarn. I mean, technically, like, this kind of yarn is a superwash. It's not something I would regularly buy for garments and things, but I know with a let's start again. Yes, I do buy superwash yarn, but not loads of it, and it's basically only hand-dyed yarns that I've either purchased or been given that you can't put in the washing machine really, because you could wash out the hand-dyed colours. So although it is superwash, I wouldn't throw it in the washing machine. But this one is definitely to throw in the washing machine, and I don't have that kind of yarn in my stash. So I thought, I know, I'll knit some baby socks, because last month, I think, I visited my friend who just had a baby. At the time, the baby was 11 weeks old, I think. And I made her some really, really cute cotton socks using the, I think it's Regia, Tutti Frutti yarn. It's like an apple. I have got actual adult socks of it, but I don't know where they are right now. But it's an apple. It looks like an apple print. It's very cute, and I made these little socks, and I will put a picture because it's so cute. And I thought, okay, if I give her this and explain, I'm sorry if it looks a bit naff, here are some cute little socks, and they wouldn't take long because my friend's socks took ages. You'd think baby socks wouldn't take long, but they were 4-ply and they were so small, and it took me 2 days, which isn't long if you think about how long a pair of socks can take. But then again, I say this, there are so many YouTubers who say, I just did this whole sock in a day, and that is not me. Definitely not me, especially with 4-ply. So these took me probably about 9 hours in total, and I have to take loads of breaks when I knit because I get hand pain. So I sat there for about 2 full days with breaks trying to finish these tiny socks. So I thought this time I'm going to use DK yarn and it'll fly off. And I'm following a pattern for baby socks. And I'm going by the size of the socks that I made for my friend's baby. These are like toddler socks. This is huge. Like, that's grand, I think, because you can stretch it over the little chubby baby legs, but it's got a full-on heel flap and gusset situation going on. Sorry, it's a bit wonky and out of focus. And I just think that a baby's foot is not this big. And now I don't really know how long to knit this for because I don't really know what size child it's going to fit. I can give it to my friend whose baby received the other socks because at some point the child will grow and need more socks because I don't want to rip them out. But yeah, I don't know what size, which age the baby needs to be to fit in them, and therefore how long. Do I do them like 5 inches, 6 inches? Like, yeah, don't know. So that didn't work because I wanted to make basically newborn socks, so they'd be really fast, and I can't speak, an accompaniment. They would accompany the cardigan, but that's never going to fit a baby. It's enormous. So don't know what to do there. And I actually wanted these needles to make a cardigan, but now I feel like there's this curse of the baby knits. I just can't seem to knit baby knits. And I wanted these needles so I could cast on a cardigan, and now I've cast on a pair of socks, which I have to finish so that I can try and cast on either a smaller pair or the other cardigan. So I don't know. But the good news was that because I needed these needles, I did finish these DK socks that have been on my needles since April. Like I finished one in March or February, and then this one just sat like this much done until 2 days ago. And I finally finished the rest of this sock. So now we have 2. So there's a finished object that caused this other situation to happen. I don't know. Baby knits look adorable, but now I have this hatred for them because they're not that great. I don't know. I think the thing is, with a baby, their heads are pretty big, and also if a baby's like drooling over itself, you can't really use non-superwash. And then also if it's drooling or vomiting or getting baby situations all over it, you don't really want to pull it over its head because then you're like, yeah. Hope you guys aren't eating while I talk about this. So I understand why a cardigan is better, or maybe something that has some buttons that you can undo to get over. But then I'm just going to have this situation with the rowing out. I suppose when I've done back and forwards knitting, it's been on lace work, so I've never maybe noticed. I'm also knitting the Felix cardigan, but I haven't really touched that for a while. And I know that's pretty loose, but again, she also says in the description of the pattern, yes, it's going to be a loose gauge. So I already thought that that would be the case, and it is, so I'm not shocked. But this cardigan has definitely murdered my knitting mojo, and I guess it put me into a bit of self-doubt, and like, I know I can knit, so it's not like, oh, I'm not going to knit anymore because I made a mistake, but it just, I don't know, it just got under my skin and really bothered me, and it was all of these like beginner mistakes that I feel like I should have passed by now, and there it was as a gift that I have to get finished in a specific amount of time. And yeah, I don't think I'm a good test knitter. That pressure to get that finished in time really put me off knitting it, and then the mistakes put me off and the yarn put me off. I would like to try another cardigan just so that I don't have this sour taste in my mouth anymore about baby knits. But definitely looking forward to knitting something fun that's for me, because I've also realised that I don't think I like knitting for other people. I think if this cardigan was for me, I actually wouldn't care that much. I would care, but not that much, because it's just me gonna wear it. But when it's a gift, I feel like there's more pressure, especially when they've seen your other knitting and then you give them something that isn't as good. Yeah, I'm blabbing now. Shall we move on? Let's move on. I also have another finished object, but it's really difficult to show you. I probably have to insert a picture of it, and it feels a little raunchy to do it on the internet, but the same friend that's going to get the Ziggy Shawl, she's getting married, so it gave me an excuse to do something that I haven't done before. So I knitted her a garter, and I saw this beautiful pattern, and I have to insert the name here because I can't remember, but it's by Desert Rose something. And I just loved the pattern, but you had to pay $4.50 or something, and I didn't want to pay for such a tiny thing that I'd used once. But now I've decided, I've bought it obviously, and I'm going to use this stitch pattern and insert it into some kind of top or sleeve, something, because I basically just couldn't figure it out by looking. And then I thought, how cheeky of me to even think about that. Someone has taken their time to create this and I'm looking at it trying to figure it out. So I bought it, and I made a little garter, and I have several mindsets about this. My husband laughed a lot at the idea of a knitted garter, and I then did think, oh gosh, what if I've just made my friend something really granny? Like, whoever said a knitted garter was sexy? No one! I don't think anyone ever said that. And also, they're usually quite small, but I just really liked this in the picture. I didn't get the same yarn because I could not find it. It was a recommended Leon something, Leon by Lang yarns, and it was a silk and linen, and I could not find this anywhere. But I did get a silk alpaca because I originally tried it with a sock yarn, and it was absolutely enormous. It was like this big, and even though I went down several needle sizes, this one as well, I think he was supposed to use 3.75 and I used a 3, and I could honestly have gone down to a 2.75 even, because you can't really see the detail in the lace as much as in the original picture. At the moment I just put some elastic through, but I do need to get some ribbon. And then, I mean, I doubt she'd actually wear it, and I doubt she would wear it. If she wore it on her wedding day for fun, she wouldn't wear it again. And that's slightly depressing because it took me hours to get the original one cast on, and then I got through and it didn't work. It was so big, and the gauge was completely off and you couldn't see any of the lace. So then I ordered a new yarn. That came, then I used bigger needles, you couldn't see that, so I ripped that out, and then I stuck with this. So the fact that it will never be worn is kind of depressing, but it's the thought that counts, and I like to think that she's the kind of person that would have a memory book or a scrapbook or something, like a collection of items to remember something. So I like the idea that she'd at least keep it and remember her wedding day. Like she wouldn't remember her wedding day, but you know what I mean, it's a memory thing. And it's the thought that counts, right? So there's a knitted garter to go with her shawl. I mean, not to go, but you know what I mean. Okay, I feel like I have just whizzed through all of this information, but in a complete hodgepodge kind of a way. So sorry for that. I have actually kind of put off recording because I didn't have anything, because I didn't get very far on the shawl. The cardigan was the situation. I had to undo the garter 3 times, and yeah, and the sock wasn't finished. Like nothing was finished, nothing was done, there was nothing to talk about. And now I feel like I'm just sitting here talking and talking and talking, but not in any particular order. So next up I'm going to talk about natural yarn dyeing. Then I'm going to talk about some sewing, and then kind of a combination of some pattern and some yarn that I got to make said pattern. So let's do natural yarn dyeing. This one is a new hobby that I'm not sure how long will last, because the government just told the whole of Germany to conserve their electricity and energy, and this required a lot more electricity than I realised. So yarn dyeing, let me show you. Here are my babies. So I did some yarn dyeing and I am delighted. I think it was 2021, I think, that I decided I wanted to try out natural yarn dyeing, but then when I looked it up, it seemed incredibly overwhelming. You had to buy different pots and pans and spoons and scales that were separate to your kitchen. Needed an electric stove so you didn't do it inside. You needed to buy chemicals, and it all overwhelmed me, and I just bought the books but didn't do anything. And then I started collecting avocado stones for the whole year and a half, and collecting onion skins, just collecting and collecting until they overflowed out of my freezer. And I thought, I need to do this. I need to do what I really want to do, and that is yarn dye. So I went through my books. I have 2. One I actually didn't realise was only about dyeing like linens, cottons, and no wool, and you don't use the same process for that. So then I bought a new one. Actually, I'm lying, I didn't buy them, they were presents, one for birthday, one for Christmas, and so I went through that. And I looked on some YouTubes and learned how to do the alum mordanting and scouring and all that jazz. Then I went through my cupboards and found the things I've been storing. So let's have a show and tell. I've ordered this yarn on a website that was just getting rid of like dead stock basically. It's not something they stock anymore, so I can't really show it. I can't link it because they don't have it, but it was it's a sock yarn base. So it was 100 grams, 420 meters. But yeah, they don't sell it now. But I wanted something that was fun to try out, that if I destroyed, it wasn't the end of the world. I mean, I think it would have been, but yeah, that's what I did. So I started with, I should really do a guessing game. That would be fun if it was interactive, but it's not. So I started with hibiscus. I'm not 100% sure how colour fast or washing fast it is to know how long the colour will last, but I really hope it does. This one was hibiscus, and it was the first bath. I only had enough to do one at this colour. Like, I didn't have enough of anything. I have no idea how natural dyers make so many of the exact same beautiful colour, because I didn't have enough ingredients to do any of them at the same colour. You need, depending on the berry or bark or fruit or whatever it is, you need a specific amount. And in this case, I needed equal amounts of yarn to the weight of the dry product. And hibiscus was the situation here, so I needed 100 grams. So that was the whole packet that my mother-in-law gave me 2 years ago, and I just didn't use. I used to use it when I made kombucha, but then we stopped using it and it just sat there. So now I've used it, and yeah, it's beautiful. Then I did a second bath with the leftover water because there was still some dye in there. And I got this colour, so it's like a lilac-y colour in comparison. So I really like that. Again, I have no idea how long it's going to last, so I really hope it does. I have taken some snippings and put them onto some cardboard and put one half of it on the inside and one half on the outside and stuck it to my window. So we'll see what happens, how quickly it fades or if it fades. And yeah, I don't know about washing. I will have to see about that. But yeah, that's hibiscus. Then I was given some miscellaneous tea a few years ago, but it wasn't very nice. And I didn't want to just chuck it. I feel too guilty just to throw things away, so I store them. So I'm happy I did that, because I stored this tea. I think it was green tea, but it wasn't fantastic. So it was green tea that gave me this beautiful colour, and I love this colour. So I'm definitely hoping that this one stays this colour. I'm thinking the Humblebee Humblebee socks by Fibre Tales would be nice in this. So that's the plan for that one. Then this one was interesting because I used all of the onion skins I collected for the whole year, which turned out to be 50 grams of onion skins, even though it was a huge bucket. So that I have a lot more onions to eat in my life if I want to recreate this. But this was red onion skins. And for some reason, I was told if you use onion skins, you get yellow or orange. But with red onions, it's very hit or miss. You don't actually know what you're going to get. I definitely didn't expect brown, but it's got a brown with it almost looks like it's glowing in person with a green hue, but I don't think you'll see it. Why don't you focus? It's very annoying. But yeah, it kind of has a green hue about it. And when I pulled this out of the dye pot, it was purple. And I thought, oh, that's a nice colour. I have some purples. Didn't expect purple. And then when it dried, it went kind of brown, deep brown. And then when it completely dried, yeah, it's gone brown with green. Then I used up the leftovers of it, thinking I'll just get like a sand colour probably. And I got this colour. And it's such a bizarre colour because it does not show up on the camera. If you take a picture, if you take a video, if you put it in the full sun, if you put it in indirect sun, the colour will not show as it is in real life. It's so bizarre. On screen, it's like a sagey colour, but in real life, it's more like like an avocado-y mint combined. And there's also still some onion shells. Shells? There's no shells. Skins. But it's such a beautiful colour. I didn't expect green at all. So very happy chappy with red onion. Then I've been collecting avocado stones, pips, whatever you call them, for about a year and a half. And I watched several different videos on tutorials on how to do it. And loads of people that I've seen who've tried it just get this like nude, naked colour that didn't really come out at all. And I did get that the first time I did it. I'll see if I have a picture. It was very bizarre. I hung them in my shower and it just looked like a naked person was in my shower. But it was really frustrating because I used about 6 or 7 of these stones and I heated them up for every day for about 4 days, because that's what I read or watched to do. That's how you'd get this really rich pink. And I dyed it, and yeah, just naked person. I got naked person colour. So then I got another 6 out of my freezer and chopped them up, and I just heated them up all day. Like, once it got to just before simmering, then I'd turn it off. And then after about an hour, I'd just turn it back up and bring it back up again, etc, etc. And I did 1 skein and popped that in. And then I just reused the same naked colour. So it had a baseline of the nude. And then another 6 stones pips later, I got this colour, which is a little bit more pink, I think, in real life. Yeah, maybe it is coming up right. And apologies for the state of my skeins, but I don't know, it all got all kinky in the process. That sounds naughty. It didn't come out smooth after. I don't know if it's the size of my pot, if they didn't have enough room, or what was happening, but they've all kind of got all tangled up, even though I attached a pole thing and I rinsed them. They didn't get knotted or anything, they've just kind of tangled and knotted, gone all kinky, as like if you knit and then you frog it and then it all goes bing, 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 bing. That's happened. So that's avocado. Technically the second bath, but really the first of the second version, second attempt. Then I threw in the other nude skein and I kind of got this like rose gold colour. But it is still pretty nude. There we go. So, happy chappy there. That is all of them. So I am excited for yarn dyeing. I would like to get some more yarn to do some non-superwash wool dyeing so I can make a jumper, but I don't know how to get all of the skeins to be the same colour. I think I need to get a bigger pot, and I'll probably have to buy an extracted, like a powdered version that I buy online, because I couldn't collect, what, I don't even know, like 200-300 grams of onion skins to get that, or buy that much tea. It would just be insane. Yeah, so I'm not really sure, but I think I'll just have to experiment with dyes that I can buy online. They're barks or powders, and buy enough of them for the amount of yarn, and probably either buy a bigger pot or try and do 2 separate batches and then knit them, alternating the skeins. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But also I can't afford to buy that much yarn and dye, and I haven't got a project that I need for them right now, and I have lots of yarn. So it was very fun. I do want to do more, but I do have other plans at the moment for using this yarn. And I also had summer knits planned, which have been taken over by gift knitting. Not loving the gift knitting. Feel bad about that. But there we go. So that's my natural yarn dyeing, and it was very exciting and I love it, and I want to do more, and I want to get some non-super washable and play around with that in the very near future. I am going to quickly talk about another cast on that I want to do, but it won't be yet. But I just got the yarn and the pattern, so I thought I'd show you now. Checking my battery, 20%, okay. We will round this up. I cannot pronounce the name of this sweater, and I heard Anna say it, and I thought, nope, I don't know what she's saying. It is this, it's like Yggdrasil or something. And yeah, it's black and white, so I'll try and insert a picture. But Anna has a really beautiful sweater pattern that she just released last Saturday. And it has cable, it's a raglan with a cable pattern, and I really like it. And she's Swedish, so I thought I would honour her Swedishness by knitting it in this yarn. And to be fair, I needed to buy something I wanted to get this yarn for this, but I didn't want to pay postage just for one 50-gram ball. So that's how I ended up getting some of this. And then to bring up the postage, so I got free postage, bring up the cost to get free postage, I ordered a couple of these to make the sweater. And it's so pretty. And it's July, it's 36 degrees right now. It's not July, it's June. It's 36 degrees right now, and I am holding Swedish wool and talking about all this knitting and wool whilst it's nuclear hot outside. So that is my next knitting plan, I think after some summer knits. I'm not sure, it depends. I really want to cast it on. But I'm going to the UK in 3 weeks, I think, so long as everything goes well. So I probably won't be bringing a jumper for July. I've got this shawl to finish and this top that I want to start. But when I come back, maybe. And let us round this up by talking about what I'm wearing, because this is a finished garment. You can't see it. And I have mixed feelings because this fabric, although absolutely adorable, it has kangaroos all over it. I cannot get these creases out of the fabric and it's driving me insane. I have washed it, I have steam ironed it, I have put a wet tea towel on it and then ironed on top, and I can't get the creases out, and they go like right through the middle and like right through here, and it's driving me berserk. Also it goes all the way down the center of the skirt, which you can't see. I don't know how I'm going to fit in a picture or a video because there's no space for the camera to be over there and me to fit in, but let's try. But I did a hodgepodge situation here. This is a princess seamed bodice, which I've never done before. So the seam, I have to try and see where the seam is and not the creases. Yeah, the seam comes down here and it's kind of in place of darts, but the difference is that it also comes through here, but this is a situation I don't love. The neckline is really high, and I'm not a fan of that. I used a pattern from a book that I have that I will link somewhere here or down below. I bought that in 2020 when I decided to learn to sew, and then I got the book and it was so overwhelmingly full with information that I couldn't cope at all. But I wanted to make the dress. If you remember from last time I recorded, I showed you a magazine and I wanted to make the dress that was on there, and that had princess seams, but I don't know, the pattern just did not make any sense. Nothing fitted together. It seemed to be missing a whole section at the back. Either the pattern is like faulty or my printer just didn't print out half of it. I don't know, but it didn't work. So then I looked in this book and the pattern pieces were completely different to that one, and it had a front section and a back section. The other one only gave me a front section, so that was bizarre. So I did this one, but didn't realise just quite how high the neckline at the back would be. So my next version, I want to make this thinner and to make a V-neck, I think, or a U-neck at the back instead. Because I do not like having a zip that high up. It's great to not have to worry about getting sunburnt there, but I can't remember the movie, but there's a movie where a woman cannot undo her zips, and by the end of the movie she installs something in her apartment so she can just hook her zip up and it would undo it for her. And I need that for this dress because it just does not, I can't get it on or off very easily. So that's the plan, to do another version, not in this fabric, hopefully one that doesn't crease and then just stay creased. Different neck at the back and a shorter zip. But I do like it in general. I don't think the colour is particularly fantastic on me. And I based it, okay, I have another dress that I love and I got the measurements. So technically this ends in the right place, but for some reason it just does not look great. And the skirt that you can't see is based off of a skirt that I showed you from New Zealand, possibly the last episode or the one before. I got my measuring tape out and I just measured each panel because it had a front panel, side panel, and then 2 back panels. So I measured all that out and then drew it out onto paper, tracing paper, and then hodgepodge that together. And it works, except I didn't add my seam allowances quite right. I added them, but somehow I missed a few in my calculations. So I had to add 2 extra side panels, but it worked. But the pockets are in a bit of an odd place. The original skirt didn't have pockets. So I like the fact that it has pockets because I can throw my phone in or tissues, but they are a bit bizarre. I don't think the pattern's quite designed for pockets, but hey ho. And I also thought the length was really nice, but then when I've seen a picture, I didn't like the length. But equally, my husband is horrendous at taking pictures, so he can make anybody look terrible, and he does an excellent job at doing that on pictures with me. So, not sure if it's his photography or my length of skirt. So I have to play around with that, because I did want to make this again, but in a different fabric. So I have to figure out now what I need to do. So that is everything. I do have some more sewing plans that I'm hoping to do today, so I'll update you next time on that. Not sure if I'll record before, during or after I've been to the UK. We'll see. I don't know. But it seems to be that I'm going to record about every 3 or 4 weeks anyway, because otherwise I don't have anything to talk about. So yeah, let us end there. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you liked it, press the like and subscribe if you like. It helps just get my channel out to more people. And yeah, I will see you next time.